I don't know about you. I love burning firewood. I love making firewood, but handling it and the amount of times, not so much. Hence, what we're going over today. I like just about everything about firewood except for the amount of times that you need to handle it by the time it gets into the stove. And this storage solution really cuts down on that. This right here is an IBC tote. It's an intermediate bulk container, I guess is what the IBC stands for. And there's primarily two different sizes. There's 330 gallons, which this is, and then there's a 275 gallon tote available as well. I use both, and I believe sizing has a lot to do with, number one, the availability of them, and number two, the size of your tractor. So I prefer the 330s because I'll have capacity, but I can always put less wood in if I ever were to upgrade my tractor. I have a Kubota 3901, and its lift capacity is around 1150, 1200 pounds. So I'm kind of limited. Can I fill one of these 330s right up? Yes. And I'll just be bouncing around, and I won't fill it all the way up with wet red oak. But again, those are the two options that you have. And we're going to go through just how we do it, how we cut these up, and what you need. And it's rather quick and easy. So the first thing is all about safety. So you need your safety glasses, you need your ear gear, and you need a star ratchet. It's a T30, and whether it's 275 or 330 gallon bulk container IBC tote, they're the same size. I've noticed they're the same size. This is the fourth different style. We've used two different 330s and two different 275s. It's all the same T30 ratchet, and that's for these two top rails. Whoops, almost. And then we use a grinder. I've seen people use Sawzalls. You can use them. It's just, this is a metal cutoff blade, and I have a backup battery because I'm not quite sure how much juice I have left with this. The other element that I'll show you towards the end of this video, we don't have outside right now because it's 20 degrees, and I don't want it to freeze up. And I think that's the difference between what I've seen on YouTube compared to what we do, is once we're done cutting off the metal and grinding it, rounding it off with the grinder, we take Flex Seal and we spray Flex Seal on all the ends, because the ends can be rather sharp, and one, you don't want to be cutting yourself, and two, it snags a lot on your clothing as you're loading up the tote. So another thing that I've been trying out, so some of these containers, you'll see that I've left like one of these rails out to here on either one of the sides. I'm testing that out as far as ease of loading, because I think structurally it helps the container. But normally what we're going to be doing is removing the metal grid from here, right, to here. And that's what we're going to do on this tote. But okay, on a couple of the totes that we have, I've left a wraparound on one side because I think that it helps the integrity and the strength of the container overall. So let's get started. First step is to remove these top rails. have the top rails removed. We just need to get the tank out of the cage. Pretty easy when you have a tractor. You can do this by hand. I have a tractor. I'm going to use the tractor. Quick little key thing to remember. There's 4 sides, but there's 2 different sides on the IBC tote. We're gonna be removing one of the sides that is the wider side. 2 reasons for that. The wood fits way better, nice, good 2 rows this way, so it's easier to reach in because you only have to reach in for the back row. And the other thing is, for trucking it / getting into the pallet, you got a wider space to truck for the pallet. Also, you use your forks on the tractor when you're moving these things. If you're trucking from these narrower ends, you have more weight, more forwarding weight. So your lift capacity will be adversely impacted if you were to remove the narrow ends, because you're going to have a lot more weight out of towards the ends of your forks. So we always remove the wider ends, so we keep it nice and close to the forks of the tractor so we can carry more wood. So there you have it. This is a quick, easy, simple tote for carrying your wood, carrying your firewood around. So you can sit there, fill this up, stage it wherever you want on the homestead, out of the way, out of sight, in the sun, let it dry, and yeah, transport it to where it needs to go in the fall, and you're only handling it twice. When we are splitting wood, the vast majority of the times, this IBC tote is on the tractor at the end of the log splitter, and as we're splitting, it goes right into the tote. And then we track the tote, we have them lined up off to the side here. The one thing that we don't have, and I've been looking into it, is putting a roof on them. Because again, like you can see over here, we have a few IBC totes over here. If you look over there, we got a couple of empty, not totes, but the containers. So I'm thinking about maybe making a roof out of the plastic portions. Maybe we'll do another video on that. But because that's the other thing, and you know, I'm trying to find some kind of useful purpose for these. Now, a couple things I forgot to mention. You can get, there's two ways of purchasing these IBC totes. There's food grade and there's non-food grade. And when you purchase non-food grade, like I always ask what was in the tote prior to purchasing it. And these 330 gallon totes had bulk hydrogen peroxide in them. They produce the hydrogen peroxide and then they transport it and then it goes to a bottling facility. So I'm okay with that because I'm not even using the container. I just don't want any type of toxic, I guess, chemicals. Even if I'm not using the container, I just don't even want toxic chemicals on my property. So I always ask. The cost difference is this. Non-food grade, I get these 330s for 50 bucks. Food grade for the 330s is close to 185 or $100. $85 sometimes for food grade as well. Those are in the 275s. 275s range about 40 bucks. And like I said, $85 for food grade. So for me, I get these 50 bucks. It's worth every penny. These things, you know, I don't know that they pay for themselves, but they save me some work, and I like saving work because again, handling firewood is my only, I guess, dislike of firewood, because a lot of times you're handling it 5-6 times before it even makes it to the stove. Again, one last reminder, and we'll probably do it later on today. I do not want to forget about it because I don't want to tear any jackets or sleeves or anything like that. We will be putting Flex Seal on the ends where we made our cuts. You know, I you know, took the sharp edges off, but still there'll be sharpness to these. So the Flex Seal is awesome for this, and it comes in a spray paint can. It's like 10-12 bucks. I've done 5 totes thus far, and I don't even think I used like half a can. So a can, you know, depending upon how many totes you're gonna do, should last you fairly a good amount of time. If you like what you see here, if you could, please hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends, and live the moment. I'm still not gonna spray, but this is the stuff. And again, I don't get anything for recommending anything. But this is the Flex Seal. This is what I use where the cutoff portions are on the IBC totes. So just want to throw that in there real quick. I'm not going to spray it because it's 24 degrees out now, 25, and it hasn't warmed up enough. So, but this is it, Flex Seal.